What are you doing? Come on, we gotta find the book. Find the book. I got the book. It's writing my story. Oh no, it's writing my story. What? You would go to college and you would take almost 10 years to graduate. You would start a YouTube channel that no one watches. You work a dead-end job and never be able to find prospect. What the fuck? Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark is the latest passion project from producer Guillermo Del Toro. I said producer, but he's a director. A really, really big deal of a director, but most of y'all know that. And, some guy is directing it. Anyway, let's get into this thing. Yes! A good horror movie. You know how long I've been waiting to see a good horror movie? I mean, when you want to talk about Netflix, you want to talk about Hulu and shit like Castle Rock, it's just so much garbage horror coming on TV. And we finally got a decent horror movie. Oh, man. All right, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I won't sugarcoat y'all on this one. This was actually a surprisingly good movie. This movie actually knew what it was. It didn't try to overplay itself. It didn't try to get too cute with its story. It told a straight A to B narrative, and it was simple, it was easy to understand, and goddamn it was scary. It was fucking creepy. I like how creepy it was in the way that it was creepy. Because it was creepy just in its allure, just in its feel. Because some of the shots that you've seen and some of the way that the camera was used, you could say that they were horror cliches, but they weren't, man. They were really bringing new types of editing that made stuff even more scary. Now, one of the things in here, he was a lot more loud than scary, but fuck it. I still appreciated it. It felt like a climax was building, and I appreciated it. I also appreciated the stakes that was in here. This movie constantly has stakes, and I just knew that at the end of this movie, they would take all those stakes away, and they didn't. I got a lot of respect for a movie that's not afraid to do that. The performances was really up and down. So you get these movies where you really pay attention to the key casting, the most important cast members, and that's what happened in this one. The core people in this story, that this story was centered around, they were all solid. I loved their performances, but every single supporting character was just fucking weird. Another thing that kind of missed me with this movie was trying to tell lessons, but nothing was really consistent. Nothing really finished and felt like a lesson. A lot of the characters was getting stuff that they kind of didn't deserve, honestly. That's really uncommon with horror movies, but sometimes it happens, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Didn't work that well this time. And there's also this whole thing where it was this kind of commentary on the Reagan administration. Look, I was born in 89, man. All of that stuff go right over my head. I don't know what kind of guy Tricky Dicky was or whatever they called him. But this was really important in the backdrop to this story. It meant something to the story, but I just couldn't grasp it. It may be my age. I hope it wasn't my age, but it's probably my age. Shout out to the monsters in here. I've never seen nothing like the monsters in here. They were fucking creepy. I was just in my seat like I can't believe I'm watching something that's scary. It was pretty dope. And honestly, it was nothing mind-blowing. It was just the way these monsters were presented and edited, man. I really felt the whole thing. I mean, a lot of these shots were just flat out scary. The trailer doesn't really do it justice. This thing is bringing it when it comes down to the horror. And it's cloaked in a good story. I love when this type of shit happens. I'm just so relieved, man, because I was really banking big on this director because I know he can bring it. Oh, wait, you know what I mean. And I'm not even going to act like this is the most original story I've ever seen. This felt like a ripoff of The Ring and a ripoff of It. It was kind of doing both simultaneously, but I just like that they didn't mean to. They were really trying to tell their own thing. So it never felt too cheap. And that's what leads to good movies. Seriously, I know this movie has been out for a couple of weeks, but if you still want to go out and you want a date night and you like horror movies, don't skip this one. I know you thought about it. Don't skip it. Let's get to the critical reception, shall we? This thing is sitting at a certified fresh 81%. Deserves to. It deserves to. While the audience is giving it a 72%. I think that the audience is being a little harsh on here, but sometimes people who not accustomed to the horror genre, they can kind of see a lot of things as cliche that kind of aren't cliche, but it kind of still feels cliche because horror does have some rules that it kind of has to follow if it wants to still stay true to any type of narrative structure. Definitely worth your time and definitely will give you the heebie-jeebies. Nothing like the heebie-jeebies, is it?